Hi Rizalian, I am Christopher Espilita from STEM 11 student. A communication breakdown is defined as a failure to exchange information resulting in a lack of communication. How would the communication breakdown occur? Here are some examples of how communication breakdown in the workplace can occur to make it clearer. A member of staff making a mistake due to miscommunication or not enough information given in training. An overworked manager sending an email missing vital information to their team because they've got a client on their case about completing work. A junior Chinese spreading whispers about the current state of a project's completion because they misheard what their manager was saying. What are causes of communication breakdown? We've touched upon a few examples of the ramifications of a communication breakdown in an office, but how do communication breakdowns occur to get to that point? There are few key communication barriers that can be the main cause of communication breakdowns. Let's go through them. First, loss in translation. This doesn't necessarily mean language barrier, but rather how the listener interprets certain words, phrases, or sentence structures. This especially occurs across email, where lack of tone can result in the receiver perceiving the message in a different way to what was intended, or a certain word with dual meanings being interpreted correctly. Second, the attention span of a gnat. The average of human attention span has decreased from 12 to 8 seconds, meaning we have less time to remain engaged before we switch off or starting thinking of other things. As mentioned before, there are differences between listening, hearing, apparently. We can only listen for 8 seconds before our eyes glaze over, thus missing vital information. This lack of attention, meaning that information constantly has to be repeated, which is not only arduous, but it's frustrating for the speaker. Third, too much information. As you can imagine, there is a plethora of information running through a business. This is especially prominent in organizations with over 200 employees. Managers are not only trying to control the information they're receiving from superiors, but are also trying to manage information floating up from juniors and distributing this to all the correct parties. Without a streamlined flow, this level of information plus the overload of information that can occur is too much being shared to the wrong people, can descend into chaos. Lastly, fourth, under pressure. High stress jobs means there's often no time to communicate properly. If you're on tight deadline, you're on behind on your target, you're not going to waste precious minutes formulating the perfect email. Continuing this pattern always leads to greater consequences. Similarly, if people see you're constantly busy, they may be put off attempting to communicate for fear of interrupting and being scolded. This means you become the spanner in the works. 5 ways to resolve a communication breakdown. First, observe. How your business communicates may be ingrained in your ethos. You have to overarching a way that you expect every team to give a feedback information. This only works to a certain extent. I'm sure you can see the obvious reasons why. It's useless to try a pin down and communication strategy before you've gotten to the team together, because you don't know how the personalities of the team on how they work together. Second, options. As discussed earlier, we rely heavily on email. Giving your entire team only this tool to communicate with will take you straight to a communication breakdown every time. Whether giving your team another computer-based tool, introducing more huddles and meetings, encouraging them to pick up the phone, or more urging them to physically work around to a person's desk, giving them communicative options will help them feel less trapped in the restrictive vices of the email world. Third, sharing is caring. Updates, updates, updates. If the marketing team has created a new campaign for the company, let everyone know. If the business analysts have compiled a really interesting consumer report, share it out. Site-wide upgrades are vital for keeping everyone in the know. This is with reason. Your company doesn't need to know the new starter work out with the VLOOK in Excel. Save these little vignettes for team-wide updates and share the big wins with everybody. Don't rely on email for this. Have large meetings headed up by the CEO once or twice a month. Your team members deserve transparency. Fourth, practices makes perfect. Providing constant training sessions on how and why we communicate as a business, the best way to write an email, communication across every level of the company, and how to give feedback in the most effective way will leave communication breakdowns the more you do them. These training sessions are also a great way to bring together members of staff who may not already be in direct contact with each other, building morale through a one shared goal. Fifth, one team, one dream. If you resolve the communication breakdown and teach your team the value of communication, the benefits abound. Good communication builds a strong team that people want to engage in. It streamlines work processes. It equips your workers in the tools to take on any things that thrown at them and ultimately makes your business sings. Thank you for your listening and I hope you understand it.